Today's the 8th of April. It's a lovely quiet morning here in Sheffield, and I'm going to take you on a short tour of my front garden. So this is one of my functional growing areas. You can see this is where I raise on seeds, or one of the areas in my garden where I raise on seeds. And I have a frame that's been recently built where I'll be growing brassicas this year, and the frame inside it, or the structure inside it, is for growing runner beans up. I won't be planting them out until I'm sure that all the risk of frost has passed. You can hear lots of bees and birds. Oh, and a wood pigeon right on cue. This is why I like being out in the garden in the morning, and in particular at the moment it's quieter than usual, less traffic around. So some of the highlights at the moment are, this is the red flowered pasque flower. It's absolute beauty. But I think my soft spot is for the native form, so purple pulsatilla vulgaris. Normally I hit with the bees, but for some reason they're not on it at the moment, for reasons best known to themselves. Follow me around the path. This is an area which is going to come into its own in summer. There's some foxgloves in there, and also some Centuria montana. Got lots of that because that is an absolute classic for the bees. A bit of rosemary. This plant's really old now, it's looking a bit sad. Lost some of it last year. I think it was a bit of frost damage possibly. Excuse my shadow. So this is going to be a lemon yellow flowered achillea or yarrow, which is absolutely beloved of things like hoverflies and all sorts of other small fly type creatures. As we go past here, this is a ceanothus, and it's actually possibly going to flower a little bit early this year, otherwise known as California lilac. It's named after the blue flowers, and it really does do a lot for the bees. In fact, there's a bee already on it, which you probably won't be able to see, it's too small. And I think he's just being a bit optimistic because the flowers aren't open yet. I've got a raspberry patch integrated with all this, and I've got a huge amount of sage here. Again, this is I use a lot of evergreen plants in my garden, or semi-evergreen plants, because they provide permanent cover, which is ideal. You can see over here, these are the weird and wonderful flowers of the euphorbia. This is Euphorbia amygdaloides, Whittleberry garnet, or Whittleberry garnet I think. And that refers to the red centres of the flower. Odd plant to look at, but a great structural plant, permanent cover. So yeah, there's quite a lot of evergreens going on in this area, which is my woodland garden. As you can see, it's enclosed by a hedge to the south, so it's semi-shaded. You'll also notice this is a beech hedge, so there's actually no leaves on it yet to speak of. They're just coming into bud now. And over here we've got my hedge, if you like, which I planted when I first moved in about 12-13 years ago, and there's some good spiky plants in here, including this berberis here. I'm a big fan of spiky plants as habitat because there's a lot of cats around, and birds prefer something that cats aren't likely to get into. What else have we got going on here? Got a golden raspberry down here, in amongst the Aquilegia, which of course will flower from June onwards, Granny's bonnets, or columbine as people call it. And this is a fantastic plant, botanical name for which I forget. I also forget the common name for it. It's a North American plant, bearberry, that's it. Lots of ferns. I generally choose evergreen ferns, again because of issues of creating structure, permanent cover in the garden. And the magnolia, possibly Magnolia stellata, although I forget now, is now coming into flower, which is a really happy sight. That's happened in the last week. Over here you can see the cover of the garden is actually very dense. There's a lot going on here. This is just how I like it. Every surface covered. We've got Chionodoxa, or Glory of the Snow, that delightful little blue flower there. And we've got Leucojum. Summer snowflake, or is it called spring snowflake? I can't even remember now. Great plant, love it. And Helleborus fadidus. and otherwise known as the stinking hellebore, for good reason. Sometimes it really is stinky, but it is a UK native, so it's a great plant both for pollinators and also for herbivorous insects. So good for a corner of the garden where you're not going to sit, perhaps. Over here we've got Brunnera, Macrophylla, or the Siberian bugloss, an absolutely stunning plant because it produces such a profusion of flowers that go on and on and on. So it's been in flower for at least, what, 2 weeks now? A highly variegated foliage Pittosporum. I don't go for many variegated things in my garden, but I do like this one. It's got a really nice silvery look to it. Over in this far corner, nearly missed it, is the white flowers of the snowy mespil. It's called, a common name. And lots of other vegetation knitted together. So we've got cyclamen hederifolium there, ivy-leaved cyclamen. Again, some bits more Brunnera, and one of my absolute favourites, the world leaf forms of sweetwood ruff, Gallium oderatum. And some people find this a bit of a menace, and if you look closely you'll see it in every direction. But this is how woodland should work, and it is actually a native species in this country, you just don't see it very often anymore. And it should come into flower in May, and it will have white flowers all over it, and I'm sure I'll be posting pictures of that. And we've got some epimedium here, which is, though not a brilliant wildlife plant, does have the value of being evergreen, and it really is evergreen. It hardly ever changes, although the leaves do tend to change colour in autumn, and it makes great cover. Last but not least, we've got this area here. We've got some erythronium about to come out. So this is the dog violet, which has yellow flowers, and can't miss this absolute joy. This is anemone nemerosa, our native wild anemone in this country, the wood anemone, and I recommend it for anybody's garden because it doesn't take up much space. Just put it at the front of a slightly shaded area, and it'll do you proud. So thank you for joining me in my garden. Oh, morning Pepper. Not my cat, neighbour's cat. I'm very camera shy. Anyway, thank you for today's tour, joining me for today's tour of the garden. I'll be doing another one when there's some more interesting plants out.